And Shrove Tuesday gets competitive as the annual Alnwick football match gets into full swing.
Good evening. We've heard over recent months the use of food banks is at record levels here in the North East, and now it's claimed that the number of people getting second-hand clothes for free
of urgency. Nick Kemp made this.
Yorkshire has been sentenced to almost in order to has dried up, and one industry expert has
his photography business fall into decline, but the judge said he couldn't ignore the lives that can be ruined by the drug. Wright, a flamboyant figure who even lived in a property called Toad Hall, was jailed for 19 years. Greg Easteel, ITV News.
As the oil industry worldwide continues to struggle, the devastating impact is now being felt in the North East. One of the region's largest offshore engineering firms, OGN, says it's had to shed 2,500 jobs in just 3 months.
The company, based on Tyneside, says global investments in the sector has dried up. And one industry expert has warned that the North East must brace itself for a difficult few years. Johnny Blair reports now on the state of the industry.
These were the good times, a £400 million platform on its way from Tyneside to the North Sea. With it went the hard work of 2,000 employees and plenty of North East pride. Now, the bad times. The same company, OGN, has shed 2,500 jobs in 3 months. The worldwide revival in the oil and gas industry was short-lived, leading to fears the workforce could also drift away.
Unfortunately, well, there's only 35 people there when last year there were 2,000 people working there. Some of these people will inevitably have to travel abroad, travel to other countries. And I know people locally who work for OGN who now are going to have to go far afield. Instead of going home every night, they'll be away for weeks on end.
The company says we're down but not out. Investment in North Sea oil and gas has dried up. Our determination is to put our skills into the offshore wind sector. Noting the decline of global oil prices from his office in the North East, the man who represents businesses in the region. He says things will get worse before they get better.
It is going through a difficult time, and in the short to medium term, perhaps for the next 2 years, maybe 3 years, it will still be going through a difficult time. But looking beyond that, looking to perhaps 2018, 2019, the industry will start to come back, it will start to recover because it is a cyclical industry.
But against this grey backdrop, there are sparks of success. Just a mile up the water, this company is building 2 giant towers for offshore ships. It is a large industry, and experts say finding the right niche is the key for survival. The North East has the skills, the location and the desire. What it also needs in the meantime, though, is work. Johnny Blair, ITV News.
Well, our political correspondent David Wood has been following this story for us and joins us now. David, what's the government had to say about this?
Pam, I have a copy tonight of a recent letter from the Chancellor to bosses at OGN who accused him of not doing enough to save the industry. He says the government has taken radical action to safeguard its future. That includes a £1.3 billion tax reform plan, also a reduction in petroleum tax that the businesses have to pay from 50% to 35%. There's also more money for extra exploration off the shore, as well as more money as well to try and attract new business, those crucial new contracts that these companies desperately need. He concludes that letter by saying the Office for Budget Responsibility say that the reforms the Chancellor has made in the last year alone have pumped £4 billion extra into this industry. In effect, lots of numbers tonight from the Chancellor, but it's him saying he's doing all he can to help.
So what's next for the industry then, David?
Well, to put it bluntly, it has to attract new business, and that is not easy. Local MPs say they'll continue to lobby the government to improve. But what we're seeing here is very similar to what we've seen in the steel industry in recent months. Two big industries, particularly in the northeast, that are struggling. They're calling on the government for help. The government says it's doing all it can. The industry disagrees. The losers here, though, I'm afraid, are the highly skilled workers across the northeast who are either facing redundancy or are now out of work.
David in Westminster, thank you.
You're watching Tuesday's ITV News for Tyne Tees. Thank you for being with us. Still to come tonight, high hope.